to see the teddy bear are here to play. If you don't come play with us.
With any Disney attraction within the park, a storyline is created, a fictional background story to assist with the legend of the ride. Ken Anderson created such a story, though there were several to choose from.
There were many ideas behind the Haunted Mansion when they were starting to come up with ideas. One of the chief storymen was Ken Anderson, and he worked on a couple different ideas for the Haunted Mansion, a couple different scripts and layouts, and one of them had to do with a Captain Bloodmere or Captain Blood, Captain Gore. There's a few different stories out there about the name, but essentially there was a sea captain, and it was kind of a nautical theme. To this point in time, there still is the weather vane on top of the Haunted Mansion. That's a ship, kind of a callback to that original story, but not a lot of that remains.
Many of Ken Anderson's early concept sketches portrayed the attraction as a walkthrough, in which groups of visitors would be led by a mysterious guide.
Well, Monsanto wanted to participate at Disneyland with a new kind of an attraction that was sort of like you're going to go through inner space. In other words, you're going to be shrunk down till you're like the size of an atom. So he had a candied apple on a stick just sitting on his desk, and I just sort of picked it up and I says, yeah, you know, we could put people in a little pod and we could just sort of turn that around, and the people could look in any direction and we could control that. And yeah, we'll just stick it on a little stem and we'll put it on a chassis on this endless chain of vehicles. And now we can control which way the vehicle rotates.
Music is very important to the attractions at a Disney theme park, and the Haunted Mansion was no exception. In the foyer, the song can be heard in the style of a funeral dirge on organ. In the loading area, an eerie flute with reverb, tubular bells, and a vocal wind track perform the tune. In the seance circle, many tracks were recorded, though the only musical cue used in that scene is a trumpet and percussion track. In the grand ballroom, a kooky organ was improvised by organist-composer Bill Sobransky. When the gates finally did open to the public on August 9, 1969, the public response was overwhelming, to the point that just 1 week after the mansion opened, Disneyland set an attendance record of 82,516 patrons.
Good evening, foolish mortals. As you undoubtedly already know, there are so many wonderfully scary apparitions within the manor. So many, in fact, that it would be impossible to name them all. Fear not, mere mortals, for I can name a few that play a very spooky role inside the dusty mansion. One of the Haunted Mansion's most popular residents is Madame Leota. She is the spirit of a psychic medium who is conducting a seance in an attempt to summon the spirits of the dead. One interesting note, as guests exit the attraction, there is a little miniature figure beckoning guests to return. She is known as the Ghostess, which is a combination of ghost and hostess. She is also known as Little Leota from cast members and Disney fans, as she shares the same voice given from Leota Tombs, though Madame Leota and the Ghostess are two separate characters.